So where's Kolton?
Dead.
Yeah, probably. Oh, he's a typing.
Oh.
Oh, what's he gonna say?
Oh.
You gotta give me a minute.
Just got home. Let me grab a headset. Oh, he
Gay.
racing though.
That's it. He's kicked out of the podcast permanently. Scotty, you get to take his spot.
All right. I'll also adopt his name and personality.
All right. Now his role in the podcast is to argue with me while Hunter kind of laughs and calls us stupid. So.
Haha.
Yeah,
no,
pretty
it
much.
isn't. Paul, you're stupid.
Y'all pretty retarded.
Oof.
See, how did I do?
Pretty good, man.
Thanks. So wait. So if I'm gonna refer to any of you guys, do I have to call you Zhazi?
No, we never usually do.
We only do that when we're being ironic or plugging someone's channel.
Oh, okay, alright. Figures.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kolton last night, and he told me that's what you guys do. And then later he told me that some of the things he told me were fake, and I would just have to figure it out.
Wow.
And then I asked him if that was fake. He said no, it was real, but it was fake.
Well, one really real thing that we do for initiation is you gotta eat our
usually
shit.
Started at the same time.
You have to eat our shit.
Okay. Platter it up. Dinner's almost here.
So which movie are we going to start out talking about?
I mean, you guys can talk about Joker, but I won't be, like, really able to comment on it.
You can't just act like you've seen the movie and talk about it with us.
I'll be wrong, so, like, any other reviewer, I guess, but, you know.
You want to do my homework for me?
No. We're not smart enough.
Dang, thought I'd try. It's not that hard, I guess. Paul, stop playing Soul Calibur so much.
I'm not.
That's what Steam says. Steam doesn't lie.
Steam is unreliable.
Steam never lies. It's on the internet, so it has to be true.
I'm just waiting for Kolton to get here.
Sure you are.
Dude.
I don't see why he had to wait to get, like, ready and stuff. He could just start calling us on his phone when he was walking into his house.
6.
He better hurry up before I crack open the forbidden Pepsi.
Whoa.
Oops.
Yeah, just this morning I've created 4 more Soul Calibur 6 characters.
Damn, Paul, you're like addicted.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been into a game this much, and I'm not even that into the game part.
The character customization on Soul Calibur is really rad. Kolton made Snake on like Soul Calibur 3, and it like legitimately looked like Snake was the first one. Like, not even kidding.
In Soul Calibur 3?
Yeah, or the yeah, I think it was Was it 3? 2's the one on the GameCube, right? GameCube, PS2, and Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it should have been 3. Which I believe was also on the PS2, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I made 12 different versions of Snake, and they all look pretty good. Pretty great.
Proud of you.
I know Kolton could tell each of them off individually just by looking at them.
I couldn't.
I mean, you're Scotty.
I still haven't played Metal Gear. I need to get to that at some point, but I don't even know like what I'm gonna do because I'm like bad at stealth games, and I really sucked with the controls of MGS2 when I did play it.
You gotta get used to them. And if you have to, you can do it on like... I played through the first Metal Gear on easy, and I pretty much just kept ramping up the difficulty through playing the games.
Oh, gotcha. I'll probably have to do that, because when I was playing MGS2, I would literally, like, walk over, I would see a guard, and I would go, like, alright, time to aim. It would take me about 30 seconds to actually get my reticle on them.
Yeah. Well, that's
so bad.
That's pretty much a part of Metal Gear Solid 2. You gotta, like, plan where you are so that you can get shots off easily, quickly.
Yeah. I was talking with this one guy at work who seems to be a big fan of like PlayStation and other games, and yeah, I told him I was like a Nintendo guy. He asked me if I was into PlayStation games. I told him like I played Final Fantasy VII, but not the original Metal Gear, so I guess I'm pretty half-baked.
Whoa.
I don't know though, I might want to play Symphony of the Night before I play Metal Gear Solid.
I doubt it's as good as Metal Gear Solid.
I'm not saying it's as good, I'm just saying it's pretty good.
Oh.
Said if he doesn't hurry up, I'm gonna start cranking out Luigi's Mansion. Thank you, by the way, Paul, for your copy of Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube.
Oh, no problem. I love giving you Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube.
My favorite pastime.
Alright, not gonna lie, boys. I think I'm a bit too retarded for my homework as well.
Don't worry.
Understandable.
Understandable, have a nice day.
I gotta clean my room too, so if you hear any weird noises, it's probably that.
I have like a fucking load of laundry I gotta like fold, but I haven't done it because I'm just not into that.
My mom's making me while she's out of the house, so if I don't actually do it, she'll like take away my gamer privileges or something.
Yeah. I actually texted my mom and said, Mom, I'm doing a call with the boys. So I'm gonna do...
Gotta do 17 lines of crack cocaine. So, Paul, have you been recording the podcast? Because you should be.
What? I've been recording for the past like 8 minutes.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's good. This better be in the podcast. It is quality discussion.
It should just be its own video of like waiting for Kolton.
Like, if Kolton doesn't even like show up, like he's busy or something, just publish this anyway, as podcast 6 or whatever.
I probably will. I need some more content on my channel.
Bro, you've uploaded a lot actually. Like I've been
Don't put any
shocked.
Soul Calibur guides up. It's my thing.
Just do Soul Calibur character customization guides.
You could do that.
Peter Gr.
Hey, I got to the
world record.
I got to the top of another subreddit yesterday.
Nice. What subreddit?
Dude, Metal Gear Solid.
Bro, that's epic.
Oh.
So epic.
So I told my mom not to interrupt me because you're doing a podcast, and she was like, "Oh, interesting. About what?" And I'm like, "Frozen 2.
Violence.
Last thing I need is for her to last thing I need is for her to look up and see the podcast."
Oof.
You know, speaking of violence, shall I bring up the Frozen 2 crime statistics?
That was really good.
Oof.
Can't believe that actually happens.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy to read about, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Alright, you know, I was gonna say Kolton joined, but I guess how did you guys feel about Joker, and is it indeed better than Avengers Endgame?
It was a movie.
That's like the dumbest question I've ever heard.
I know. You can't. Have you like not seen people like posting and saying like Joker is way better than Avengers Endgame?
No, I have not seen that.
I've literally been seeing it everywhere.
They are literally the exact opposite movies.
I know. but
Endgame is the
it's-
conclusion
Yeah, I really don't
to
think
10
you can compare the
years,
two at all.
and Joker is hopefully the beginning of 10 years of DC.
Insinuating that DC hasn't been
And
trying.
one's
for
about
the
a bad
past,
guy,
like,
and
I
something
think they're
years.
pretty much. I really hope they're just restarting.
I mean, they did essentially already have a Joker and then said, "Nah, that's gay," and started it over again.
Yeah. And Henry Cavill is moving on to other stuff. He's not Superman anymore.
Oh yeah.
He's the Witcher now, so.
Geraldo?
No. What was it? Geralt. Geralt. Yeah.
I gotta. Actually, never mind. I was thinking about getting The Witcher 3 on my Switch, but then I realized I'd probably destroy the system then, right?
Just buy a fucking game
Do
card
they even?
for it.
Do they have? I have an SD card. I'm just saying. Like, do they have a physical copy of it?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Definitely.
Oh.
It's actually like a deluxe thing.
I
With like
see.
maps and whatever.
It's not going to be that one stupid thing that some companies are doing. Like, if you buy the physical copy of Overwatch on Switch, it's just the download code.
Oh no.
Oh man, I hate that.
I don't think you even need to download extra stuff offline.
Honestly, why they haven't put Overwatch on the Switch if they're releasing Overwatch 2 soon?
I don't know.
Like,
what even is Overwatch?
What's the
2?
point?
Oh, it's the second Overwatch.
It's Overwatch with a 2
Well,
slapped on.
Yeah,
on the
but I
end to
mean,
it.
like, I've been hearing people say that it's essentially just Overwatch, but with a little bit more content. But then they're adding that same content to the original Overwatch, so that way, like, quote unquote, no players get left behind, which doesn't really make sense.
It's probably gonna be like Splatoon 2, where there's like new maps and new weapons, but it's not like
a full
that different.
I mean, they may as well have called Splatoon 2 just Splatoon on Switch or something, but they were like, haha,
Splatoon.
Yeah, it was their mistake for not calling it Splatoon.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would make me so wet. So, since we don't have anything going on right now, I'll just plug my channel. M64. I just uploaded a video. It
Oh,
got
yeah.
some views.
Yeah, your channel's exploding right now.
Yeah, because of my clickbait. Literally no Hilda guides like exist right now, like no official ones. So when you search Hilda guide, mine's like the third down.
Wait, really?
So people will click on it. Yeah, like 50% of my viewers come from YouTube search, so I know they're searching Hilda guides and finding my video.
87 views, man.
Dang, is
Crazy.
after that much already?
Right. Let me check it out.
$78 views. Wow.
So wait, you're like.
It's 87 views once you
64.
click on the video. But
Oh yeah, like you're right there, man. That's crazy.
Look at that. My views. Okay, so Latest upload first 14 hours 54 minutes compared to typical performance. Views 84, which is up 700%. Watch time hours is at 1.7, which is up 999%.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
Hi.
Took you long enough.
Welcome to the
Because I told you guys to wait, and you guys didn't wait.
Welcome to the party.
Guys literally started as I got home.
Yeah. Should have been ready. Okay, so which movie are we going over first? We going Joker?
Yeah, go ahead and do Joker.
All right.
Wait. Why didn't you just... If we're doing one entire movie review beforehand, then why don't you just have him... Why don't you have Scotty join after we finish the first one?
Because I wouldn't know when
Because
that
he can
is.
still provide
Does that
his
make
valuable
sense?
input.
Because we could, we could have messaged him.
Eh.
Bro, you know that I'd be too busy playing some stupid-ass game to pay attention to my phone.
Okay,
Well, yeah.
technically we're 16 minutes into this podcast, but we should probably do the introduction.
Alright.
Scotty, you're the guest. Introduce us.
Yeah.
Alright, so we got, wait, should I say, like, your real name and then your YouTube name?
Sure.
Okay, so we got Paul, also known as Zhazi TheBeast.
Zhazi
Also
TheBeast.
known as probably the best YouTuber here, yet also still less successful than the retarded kid from my webpage class.
I have literally hundreds of times more views.
I know,
I just
but
have
less
10
subscribers.
less
But do you have the
I don't care about you.
subscribers?
No, I
It only-
subscribers.
Only the subscribers matter, Paul.
And then we have
That's why I've made like 5 fake accounts all to subscribe to me.
then we have Hunter, otherwise known as Metroid 64 or just M64.
Yeah,
I don't
M64.
really- M64. I always thought it stood for Metroid 64 just because I thought that would be cool.
It pretty much does. I just written it down.
Yeah, why
Alrighty,
not?
introduce
and then
Kolton.
we have Kolton, whose YouTube name I don't know.
I don't
Do you
have
even
one.
have a YouTube? Oh, okay, yeah, never mind.
YouTube's gay. I use Twitch.
Alrighty,
Alright,
and who are you,
yeah.
special guest star?
My name is Scott, and I'm the boob guy.
Dude, that's
Alright.
great.
He is indeed.
Thank you.
Can't
Alright.
use that now.
This is the 6th podcast of Destiny. Today we're going to be reviewing Joker and Frozen 2.
Cool.
Very similar movies.
Very
Alrighty.
similar audiences.
Well, yeah, we went and saw both.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't see Joker, so I can't really comment on the...
Nobody cares about you, Scotty.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, you're right.
See, this is why I'm saying you should have waited to have him come in. Because what if you wanted to see the what if you wanted to see the movie and now we're going to talk about it?
Yeah,
I
you
didn't wanna
probably
see the
shouldn't be
movie that
spoiled about
much.
this, but oh well.
We'll keep it spoiler free.
I
Okay.
saw the vibe check. Isn't that like the peak?
Yeah, I
Wait,
put
wait, wait,
spoiler
wait.
all over that video, man.
I know, but I couldn't resist.
To be 100% fair, is there really anything that's like spoil-worthy in the Joker? Like we get it, he does society stuff and he kills people. Is that really a surprise?
I mean, it's
There's no-
a
well-
Joker origin story, so...
Well, it's
I
not
think-
it's not like the normal Joker story, and like there's really not like much to the origin story. It's just a casual transition. So
yeah,
there's not.
yeah. I'm
I
just
don't
saying
think
that,
there's anything
like...
spoilery.
Alrighty, let's do the flat IGN score something out of 10. What would you give this movie?
10 out of 10.
Give it a 9 out of 10 because I'd have to watch it again fresh in my mind to like 100% remember if I liked every single thing in it.
Okay, I'd give it a 9.3. There were definitely some problems I had with it.
Fair enough.
Alright.
Well, I already know what kind of a reviewer Paul is the second he throws 0.3 into the equation.
Oh yeah.
7.8 out of 10. Too much water.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is that complaint for Frozen 2 or Joker?
All of the above.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So
Alright.
alright.
all right, okay.
What are we going to start with?
Did you guys see that video of Papa John like sweating like crazy in the news?
That's not. No. I
Man's
did
got, like,
see that,
Sweating like crazy.
but
That's what Joker 2 made me do because of how intense it was.
Wait, Joker 2?
Joker 2?
No.
Dude, you saw Joker 2?
Dude,
I'm a time traveler.
Metroid
I
64
revealed my secret. Oh no.
in the podcast of Destiny.
There's a
I'm
spoiler
sorry,
right
but
there.
everyone who listens to this video has to die now. You know too
Oh.
much.
Society kill.
Okay, let's start off with what problems we had with the film. What were you guys'
Papa-
least favorite parts?
Papa John just looks too sweaty in the video.
Dude!
Yes.
Come on.
Okay, I just say he looked really sweaty in the video.
Okay,
Things I
Hunter?
didn't like about Joker. Paul, you go first. And you think?
I hated the black chick.
Oh,
Okay.
She was like,
Wow.
maybe that's a
Okay,
little
Paul.
worse out of
We see how
context,
I see
but-
how it is.
there wasn't much point to her character, and at the end, like when they revealed that she was like a figment of his imagination, spoiler alert, it just felt like it was treating the audience like we were a bunch of idiots, because it had to, like, when she came in the room and said like, what are you doing, who are you, like you get when she says that oh, it was a figment of his imagination, but then it goes through like scene for scene every scene she was in and showing how he just imagined her, and that wasn't that wasn't necessary.
Kind of was a bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree to that. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I didn't think about that prior.
Speaking of black women, I didn't like how the black women on the bus didn't give Joker his card back. That's
Yeah.
really mean of her.
Yeah, that was like, it didn't make any. I think they just left that out, like she was going to give it back, but I guess that's not a hugely important thing. But
Well,
We
it
needed-
could be because when he was for his card in all those other scenes, he didn't have it because the black lady didn't give it back to him.
Let's call it Matt Pat for film theory and see if we can solve this problem.
we should. What did you guys think of Batman in it?
The only besides
I mean, it wasn't really Batman. It was just Bruce Wayne as a kid.
Well, what did you think of Bruce Wayne and the Waynes and like the backstory for Batman? How they redid that?
Bruce Wayne's dad, Thomas Wayne's like a dick in it.
Yeah, I wish they did him a bit differently. Like, it would have been nice if he was like a politician.
They're
who was
they're definitely using him to show how like rich people don't care about the poor people.
Yeah,
but like
it's very obvious.
yeah, but like every other iteration of Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha, they're shown to be rich, but like the only like nice rich people. So it's weird that they had him become like.
It was a nice
that doesn't
difference.
fit the message of this movie, Kolton.
Yeah, but I wish that he was like up and like I wish at the beginning of the movie Thomas Wayne was actually trying to like do a bunch of like public works service, like a bunch of welfare programs trying to help the poor, but when he talks to Joker you realize that he doesn't care about the poor at all and he's just a politician. I thought that would have been more interesting.
He's just saying the
shit.
things to get like elected.
Yeah, like you can tell from the
Yeah.
beginning that he's just lying and a sleazeball.
Yeah, I wish they would have made it so I think like ham-fisted is the term or something.
What?
I wish they would have made his point so ham-fisted, like it's not so in your face, like, oh, he's the bad guy because he doesn't support the poor people.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It would have been nice if Joker looked up to him more, because at the point where he gets punched by him, he thinks that he's his dad. So it'd make more sense if he was looking up to him more, like he was actually a savior of the poor people. But then it turns out he's just a rich guy that doesn't care about anything.
Well, I guess, I mean, he didn't look up to him in the beginning because he didn't know that he was. Well, he didn't think that he was his dad.
Yeah, but I thought it would have been more interesting if he was looking up to him just as like a public figure who's trying to help out the poor, and then he realizes he's his
Okay, I
dad,
see
so he
what
looks
you're
up to him even more, and that just makes it more devastating when it turns out that he's not his dad and evil.
I think
I get what you're saying. Okay.
I think the point where I think all the way up to the point that he punches him, you don't really know whether or not he's the bad guy or not. But the moment, like to me anyway, it felt like the moment he punched him, and like said something to him about like basically going and meeting the kid Bruce earlier in the film. I feel like that's the moment where like you should have realized by now he was the bad guy, but this is like the slap in the face you need to remind you that he is not really a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
I know after the movie and we were talking about it, I know Kolton was really acting really stupid. I think you and Hunter both agreed that like Murray was a terrible person.
Oh, I said basically.
I
just basically said he could have been a little nicer about having Arthur on the show. Like, I get that they were just having him on for the fact that because what he did was a funny skit and whatnot, but like nobody ever tried to iterate to them that Arthur had a laughing problem, so that's why he was like that, and they never like came up and talked to him beforehand or anything about whether or not this would offend him or not, or if this was okay or anything. They just assumed that, okay, this guy can do something funny, let's have him on the show, and that's...
Well, it seemed like when they had him on the show, if they actually were able to ask him questions, they would have asked him about that. Because, like, before when they originally had him, it was just a funny thing that somebody did, like in America's Funniest Home Videos, like something like that. But once they wanted to get him on the show so that they could ask him about him actually being a person. But by the time that he went on the show, he was in a position where he didn't. Yeah, that was really interesting, because once he went to the show, he was so far gone that, like, if he was how he was previously in the movie, he would have actually, like, maybe that would have led to a comedy career, and the interview probably would have went well if he was like he was previously in the movie.
Yeah, but at that point, he was Joker, you know, society.
Yeah, because when he talks
I don't think. Okay, you can go.
Well, when he talks to Murray, it really seems like Murray's being pretty reasonable, actually, and he's definitely one of the people in the movie who least deserves to get shot. But since Joker went into the interview with his mindset on everyone, you know, especially the rich people, being evil.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna say. Like, Murray didn't exactly act bad towards Joker. It was like the other people surrounding Murray. He had to say, like, hey, just give the kid a chance, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like when they were in the dressing room or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was necessarily bad. It's just Joker, he had a plan. He was a man with a plan.
Yeah, it was like Murray is just insensitive in his, like, his personality is very much a showman, so he's kind of insensitive, like when he showed the clip of Joker. But when he actually talks to people one-on-one, he's pretty nice.
Yeah, I wish Jimmy Kimmel could like be like that and not be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I wish Joker would talk to Jimmy Kimmel.
Ooh, that.
Just say it like it is. Just say it like it is. You want Arthur Fleck to shoot Jimmy Kimmel.
I really hope my FBI agent doesn't watch this video.
I want Joker to do it.
I was gonna say, like, I thought it was really cool that DC actually went and did this movie. Like, not only did everybody kind of hate the Joker that they set up, so it was cool to see them, like, kind of reboot it, like, start over with a new one.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, we don't actually get an origin story for the Joker as often as you might think we would. Like, I guess compared to Batman, where we see, like, his origin, like, 38 billion times, the Joker's origin is usually kind of shrouded in mystery with, like, only a few key points, like, reoccurring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see, like, a full movie dedicated to it.
It's mainly because, for the most part, they don't want you to know a certain aspect of the Joker, because, like, they never want you to know his actual identity or anything like that, because it doesn't matter. It just takes from the character. And that's partially why they did it differently here, because this Joker is not anywhere near the same as the original Joker.
Yeah.
So they're allowed to like be a little more at liberty with what they do, since it's not gonna like make people like the original Joker less, because people are just gonna associate this as its own thing.
Yeah.
That and Joker's so iconic.
Scotty.
You would just kind of like, you don't necessarily need a lot for him to know what he's about. Sorry, Hunter, you can go ahead.
Okay, going off of like what Scotty said originally, I do like how the media wasn't able to blame Joker for like causing mass violence like everyone said it would.
Yeah.
Like all the reviews were so bad, like saying, "Oh, this movie's just going to cause violence," but then nothing happened. It was actually Frozen 2, the children's movie. They caused a murder.
Yeah.
Wait, there was an actual murder? I just thought it was like
I
an accident.
don't think
Yeah.
anyone died.
Oh.
I don't think anyone
tell us
died.
about
But
it?
I know
Four
people
it's
were
definitely-
arrested, cops were
Definitely
injured.
attempts.
Tell us the
I
story
mean,
about it,
look it
Paul.
up. The full.
And, well, to mention all of like pretty much most of the negative reviews, they all say like this film isn't making a statement, like it's not what we need, because it's not like it's not about any sort of modern day social justice or anything like that. That's what most of the reviewers seem to be from what you were talking about in the CCs.
Yeah. There's that article, Scotty. Yeah, nobody died.
Okay.
There was just like minor injuries.
Gotcha. I don't think every movie nowadays should be about a modern day shooter, though.
Yeah. Well, like it seems like a lot of those movies are just trying to get a point across. Like they've already established something. Like while Joker seems like it's more of an actual examination of someone's character and of this one specific character and how he changes.
Yeah. Up to
And was it just me-
100 teenagers, god dang.
Was it just me, or was the little guy like the little person a big person that they CG'd to make into a little person?
Probably.
Because that's what I was thinking for
I
like
don't
at
know. I
least
can't.
3/4
I
of
can't
the
tell
movie.
that stuff, to be honest.
I can't.
I wanted to like I wanted to iterate real quick that like let's bring up the fact that like Hunter was somewhat mortified at the scene of them like smashing the one guy's head in the wall and the midget's like whining in the corner.
Yeah, like gore like really messes with me sometimes. Sometimes it's no big deal, right? Like I see it like, oh, whatever. But other times it just like shakes me, you know? Like I was just shook.
Hunter over here watches fucking Goblin Slayer, but then he sees a guy get his head smashed in Joker. Gore's too much.
I mean, animated gore isn't the same as like. I mean, it was technically animated, but like, it's more realistic than like a 2D drawing, you know?
Well,
Hunter out here
everything.
waiting for Doom Eternal, also getting mortified by that scene from Joker.
Well, they made it.
That's just
They made
fucking-
it
that's
so
just
real
fucking
that
demons,
like.
okay, when it's like actual people and like something that could like actually happen to me.
Yeah, I kind of see what you're talking about, because like,
That's what I'm
if I see a scene that's like gory and like really disturbing, I'll look at it and be like, oh, that's pretty nasty or whatnot. But if it's to like a character that I like sympathize with, to me, that's where it gets like, oh shit.
Well, that's basically what I was going to say. Is I feel like it doesn't matter particularly how much the gore looks realistic or not. It more to me, gore would disturb me depending on in relation to the character. Like
Yeah.
if you see this guy who in the Joker movie, he gets his head smashed in because he's not particularly an antagonistic character, the Joker, but he did cause Joker to get into some problems. That I can understand why you may or may not be like shook by the gore, but then like let's say you're watching a movie or a show or something and a character you don't care at all about gets like maimed or gored and whatnot, you probably won't care as much because it's somebody you legitimately hate. But if it's somebody you actually enjoy, then you're going to be shooken up by it. So I feel like if none of us would have liked or like had any kind of sympathy or empathy for the guy who gets his head smashed in Joker, we probably wouldn't be like very upset by the scene.
Yeah, kind of.
Makes sense.
I guess there are two ways to make the violence like somebody getting shot to have it have the biggest feeling is either if you're really related to the character, like say when Tony Stark died at the end of Endgame, or if like what I think in Joker is that
Han
it just
Solo
made
dies at the end of Star Wars.
yeah when they made such a realistic story in Joker and every single death actually has importance, like the three guys that are killed on the subway, like they're in the news, they started a whole movement, like there are serious consequences to everyone getting shot, everyone dying.
Well, except the girlfriend. Her death didn't fucking mean shit at that point in the story. But
She wasn't killed.
yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
She
Okay.
didn't die.
The man walks in the apartment. Okay, I'm pretty sure she died. Like, I'm pretty sure Joker killed him, but killed her.
Well, you'd assume somebody
Okay.
else would have known if she had died. I mean, he was only able to.
Look at the state of that apartment. Like, nobody's gonna give a shit what happens there. Like the one time where Joker shot the gun accidentally, and then nothing happened.
Spoiler.
What? I think we're over that. I think we're pretty far over that.
Damn it, Hunter.
I can't believe everybody just found out he had a gun.
The movie ruined. My God.
Also, does anybody think it's stupid at all that he got fired at his position over having a gun at a children's hospital?
No.
That honestly doesn't surprise
Oh
me.
no, don't look at me like I'm saying like I think he shouldn't have been fired. I'm just asking if anybody thought he should have been given a little more leniency about that.
Maybe if he actually had like conceal and carry with a license, and he didn't just drop it on the floor and kick it, towards the little cancer chick.
Well, he didn't intentionally kick it towards the cancer chick, but I get what you're
It doesn't
saying.
matter. Like if he accidentally shoots it, that's just as bad as really shooting it.
Yeah, but you'd think he'd be able to like. So you say that it's like a prop and whatnot because he's a clown. You'd be able to convince him to give him a second chance. Because I mean, it's
But
not.
what
like
clown uses a gun as a prop?
Yeah, and everybody could
Children's
see.
hospital.
Everybody could see that
Like,
there was
if it
like
were,
no
if it
orange
were
tip.
older
It wasn't
people,
cartoony.
like I could see how it could be reasoned. But like this is a children's hospital.
Well, here's the thing.
With kids who are dying of cancer.
He's not just a children's clown, so he could be hired for anything.
But he was at the hospital. If he's carrying a prop, why carry a prop with him? If he's not going to use it in a particular show, that's just adding extra weight on you.
It's because
know?
he carries all of his clown tools on him. That's why he has his bag and everything.
He
that
could have just
has.
left it in his locker, at his
Yeah.
studio or whatever.
He has to keep all of his stuff on him in case he needs to improvise something.
I mean, I think
He's
the
improvise a
biggest
gun
thing is
scene at a
like.
children's hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't know. He could have told him that he had something prior, or
Could
he
a
could
clown in general use a gun as a prop as long as they were licensed?
They can use a gun as a prop whenever they want, as long as it's within a place that they're like if it's within their own like circus or their own performing venue, then they can use it as much as they want. Nobody can
So like,
stop them.
Yeah, but I mean like
Children's
hiring
hospital.
them outside of their own place.
It depends on what you hire them for, and the level of comedy. Like if you hire them for like a children's thing, and like they say like the kid likes this kind of stuff, like I don't know, like let's say they like cowboy stuff, so the clown comes with like fake toy revolvers and like a cowboy hat, like that's fine. Or but if it's like at a children's hospital, you probably shouldn't. Or if it's like if you're doing comedy for a group of adults, then you could probably use a weapon for prop comedy there.
Dang.
Yeah,
I don't think
definitely
this
see
is
the
a really
children's hospital
important
scene getting
point for the
fired.
movie.
Nothing you've said up to this point has been important, so we're just trying to keep the conversation flowing.
So,
Okay.
we'll wrap up our thoughts about Joker now. Move on to Frozen 2. So, Paul, any final words about Joker?
It was really good how we watched it. There were like maybe 10 other people in the theater, and they were all. It was an R-rated movie, so they were all adults. It was very quiet and respectful. And even you and Kolton were able to keep quiet, and I respected that. And it was really neat watching Hunter's face
Wow, okay.
while everyone got shot, because he was acting like a 50s housewife who just saw her child
What can I
get
say?
mauled.
I'm a 50s housewife at heart.
How could I be loud to you during
Okay.
the movie? I sat on the other side of Hunter. Like you and I sat on both sides of him. How could you have heard me at all?
But yeah, I really liked the movie. I thought it was like really good at what it set out to do. I would definitely see it again, maybe. If my brain can handle it.
Honestly,
Okay.
I think I'm more excited to see it after you guys talking about it than I was naturally.
It was really good.
Because before I just wanted to see the buzz about it, because people were dead ass saying like this movie is better than the entirety of the MCU, and I'm like, I knew that I
It's
really
close.
didn't agree.
I mean,
with
I guess
that.
it depends on your tastes.
Yeah,
but
I just think they're
I
separate
really did
movies.
think it
Like,
was
it's
really
hard-
good.
You can't really compare the two.
Yeah.
I'll just say that I like the movie. I liked it more than the MCU movies, but that's just because they're different movies, and I'm not a huge fan of MCU movies. Since we just brought up MCU movies, I just felt like correlating that. But other thing I wanted to say was that the only problem I had at all at the theater during the movie is the chick in the back who kept dropping like her phone, so I kept thinking it was a sign to like start firing every few minutes.
She just dropped it once, I'm pretty sure.
She dropped it
dropped her-
3 times.
she just
Well, she dropped some other things. She dropped like other two. Like it might not have been her phone every single time, but she definitely did.
She dropped 3
Various
things
items.
during the entirety of the movie. I kept
It was,
counting.
it was
She probably
actually a
dropped her
clown.
gun
She
out of her
dropped
pants and
gun
then
prom.
accidentally
She
kicked
dropped
it.
her gun prom.
Yeah.
All right, now shall we move on to the obviously more exciting movie?
Yes, to the far more controversial topic.
I actually,
I don't know if I would.
Violence-inducing movie.
I don't know if I would call it a controversial, just because like I think people have been split on this movie, but not like hardcore split. Like the people who think it's good don't think it's that great, and the people who think it's bad don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
So should we start off with our ratings again, like we did Joker? I'll go
Yes.
first. I think I said 4 out of 10 after watching it.
I'd probably say 4 out of 10. Yeah. Because there were, for every 4 good parts, there was 6 bad ones.
I give it a solid,
Actually, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10.
Okay, calm down. I give it a 5 out of 10, a straight 5, because I feel like the movie didn't set out to really do anything different from the first one, so I just feel it was neither good nor bad. It just didn't. It was a movie that didn't necessarily need to be made.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it a 6
All right.
out of 10.
Dang.
Dang.
I think I don't know. I guess I'm like, to me a 5 out of 10 means a movie's kind of bad.
I guess we have different scales.
Yeah. Like
All right,
for
so
me,
then
a
I'll
6
start
out of 10
off
would be
by-
a good movie, but with a lot of bad parts.
Start off with the music.
No, I'll start off with a context surrounding our viewing
Okay, good.
environment this time. Because, in the Joker, we had a nice, quiet theater, not very many
Mhm.
people there.
Not the
Cineplex, nice
respectable
cushy
adults.
chairs.
And then we get to Frozen 2,
Snowman
Full theater.
funny.
full of, small children, fucking loud and obnoxious. Every time Olaf twitched, it just erupted in laughter.
Yeah,
That was
the
horrible.
big group of fat elderly people over there just died laughing when nothing happened. I legitimately, I
The
turned
old
to Scott.
people were the worst. I think.
I turned to Scotty during the movie and I said it'd be funnier if they laughed until they actually choked up and died.
Yeah.
Like, look, I get it if they find Olaf funny and that they were gonna laugh at the jokes. I didn't think they were that funny, but humor's subjective. But there were literally times where Olaf would take a step slightly wider than his last. They would be slapping their knees, why is Olaf
Yeah.
so funny?
And it wasn't even just the kids. I'm sending a picture. I swear, this guy, he was with his wife. He had no kids. He looked exactly like this, and he was absolutely laughing the crap out at all.
Okay, so now that the audience knows our context, we'll actually start talking about the movie in a serious manner.
Okay.
Sure, let's start with the songs.
I only
I don't know the names of them, to be honest.
Well, that's an important point. But I think one of them was a decent song, and one of them was entertaining. I thought the whatever the Elsa one
Hey,
was,
Kristoff's was the best.
Show yourself.
Into the Unknown, I think it was.
Or Into the Unknown, was it?
Oh, her first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really
that
good.
one was
probably
fine.
My favorite of the movie.
I just thought I thought the Kristoff one,
Well-
because that was like an 80s sort of,
I guess Kristoff
Music
was
video?
my favorite.
like
And
90s.
Elsa's would be second.
Okay.
I really
Well, I
like-
thought the song itself was just garbage.
I really liked the both Elsa songs. The one for where she sings Into the Unknown, and then the one when she's in the ice cavern.
Mm.
I think that one is show
Yeah.
yourself. I think
That's the one I was thinking about. The Kristoff one's fun. but
personally,
it's
I didn't
not
think
really
Show
that good.
Yourself was better musically, but it was still a good thematically.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I just thought the Kristoff one was funny because it was a very Shrek-like joke to have something
Yeah.
from modern day and that past, but no other jokes like that existed in the movie, so it was really bizarre seeing that, and that just made it funny for me.
Actually, real quick, can I point out that am I the only one who's tired of like Disney trying to make those Shrek style jokes in like every movie they do? Like in Moana, they'll be like, "I'm not a princess. Princesses talk to animals." And
Yeah.
then like in Frozen 1, they did like a similar joke. I don't remember what it was exactly, but they were like, every now and then they just make a joke parodying
In like
fairy tales.
Wreck-It Ralph 2, where there's literally entire scene dedicated to that joke.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tired. I'm tired of
And
it.
that happens a lot in the Marvel movies too. Like especially in like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they would always have like these serious character moments punctuated by like some joke about Cheetos.
Well, I mean, I was better with it in Guardians too, just because like I don't expect those characters to be super serious all the time.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just like 2 movies.
It was definitely actually
but-
funny in that.
Yeah, but in like Disney, like they told the
Yes.
joke once, I was like, I get it, because they used to do that, and then they told it again, and I said, all right, we get it.
And that was really contrasted with, because there's this new Netflix movie, Klaus, a Christmas movie that just came out, and I watched it the day after Frozen 2. And it was an actually good movie because it didn't have any of those sorts of like Shrek 2 style jokes.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I thought this movie was good, but I'm also kind of comparing it to like Toy Story 4 a lot, even though it's kind of a weird comparison. It's just that like both of them were sequels to a popular Disney, I know one's Pixar, but Disney movie. But Toy Story 4, I thought was like decently funny, it was well animated and whatnot, but the problem with it was just that like the entire time while watching the movie, I'm like, why did this need to be made? It's not really changing anything, and all they do is
I have the reason
like,
why.
yeah.
There's a reason
Okay.
why this movie was made.
Other
I have
than
it
money.
in meme. I have it in meme form. They'd spent an entire budget on a movie just for this one thing to happen.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, well, speaking of that meme, can we talk about how useless, like, several characters in the plot were?
Yeah,
Like,
he was.
I think the only characters that really had that big of an effect were Anna and Elsa.
Yeah, like this was
Like, half the
basically
cast
their
was just left
movie,
behind.
and they had to include the other characters because of like Frozen has like 4
Like,
characters.
the
in
movie
total.
wouldn't be different except for, like, the exclusion of one really good song if Kristoff weren't there. The movie would be a billion times better if
And I mean,
And
Olaf
his
wasn't
character
there.
design actually looked more generic to me because, like, as you can see with that picture, like he looks really generic with the Arendelle type clothing.
Well, wait. Let me say this real quick because I actually got these yesterday. Talking about character design, somebody brought up some pictures of why is it that the female characters are all bug-eyed looking and whatnot compared to characters like Kristoff. Yeah. And I have these ones here, and I just felt like bringing them up just to see if you guys want to talk about them at all.
I thought
mean,
I
I
think
guess
it
it's
was interesting
style choices, but it's still kind of weird. I don't know.
yeah.
I think
Kristoff doesn't even look any different.
because they didn't
Well,
change Kristoff.
Kristoff isn't supposed to change.
Because they didn't change Kristoff.
It's just because like the
They're making Anna and
Yeah.
Elsa closer to him.
I mean, I'll say this: I definitely think it looks weird, but I think it looks weird from the fact that that it's just not what we're used to. Since I feel like a lot of other Disney movies have the female characters be more wide-faced and bug-eyed compared to the guys. So I think that's common in Disney
Well, I
movies.
guess you can say that like this, like the same reason like anime eyes are so big.
Well, yeah, like it like goes to the difference
Right?
between
You get more
Lion King and the Lion
emotional
King
than
remake.
men, you know.
Yeah, and like the bigger eyes and features allow them to express more emotions in an animated fashion.
I guess men just don't have emotions,
confirmed.
you know, in this movie at least.
Well, not as animated of emotions. They have more subtle emotions they convey through song.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that we waited a while to do this this podcast because it gave me some like time to kind of settle my opinions. Because I remember coming out of this movie and thinking like this was really good. I actually really liked it, and I'm coming out and I still like it, but it's not as good as I was really remembering. Like I definitely think Incredibles 2 would be a better sequel, and this movie doesn't come close to the first one. But at the same time, I can't look at it like I don't know. I guess once again, going back to Toy Story 4, I feel like Toy Story 4 almost ruins the Toy Story trilogy, while
Mhm.
Frozen 2 doesn't ruin anything of Frozen 1. Like, if you like Frozen 1, you'll like Frozen 2. It's just you won't like it as much as Frozen 1.
Yeah. I would say that Frozen 2 did... The only thing Frozen 2 did better than Frozen 1 was I personally way preferred Elsa in it, because Elsa in Frozen 1 was complete garbage. And
Oh, really?
at least...
Yeah, like Elsa actually could
Oh,
do
yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there was no point to Elsa's... Like, Elsa's character just seemed confused in the first one. I mean, you guys can prove me wrong, but...
Well, that was probably the point, for her to be, like, not knowing what to do with her powers, like, feeling super conflicted and all that.
Right.
And by the second movie, she's supposed to have, like, grown as a character and actually, like, gotten used to it.
Okay, one thing I didn't like about Elsa in this movie was her decision to stay in the forest. Just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I disagree 100%.
Express a ton of interest beforehand.
I think that she should have gone farther away than the forest. I think she should have lost her corporeal form and became like the other spirits.
Oh.
Because
She
she
came over the
her
ocean.
character.
Yeah, I didn't like how she came back to life at the end of the movie. That made the death feel so meaningless. Like,
Which one?
Her death kind of had like some Elsa. Like her death
Oh.
has somewhat of an impact.
She
when it
died?
happened. Then like 5 minutes later, she's back, so it completely removes all impact from it.
Mhm.
Yeah, when she's frozen solid at the bottom of the iceberg, like that's her.
Yeah, and-
She
then
died?
she's back.
You
in
could
10 minutes,
argue...
so it
You
means
could argue,
nothing.
like, oh, they had to bring her back because, like, Olaf's marketable and he can't be back if she's not back. But you could argue, like, what Paul said, like, she doesn't, like, her spirit is still alive, but just as one of the spirits, kind of like the others, and she could still, like, recreate Olaf like like that.
Yeah, well, I was thinking,
So-
like, have any of you guys read or seen this trilogy, The Lord of the Rings?
No,
No.
never.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've read it and I've watched it.
Okay, what I saw Elsa as, at least at the end of this movie, was Frodo. I thought like the ending. That's why I like the ending so much, because at the ending of Return of the King, Frodo has to leave because he doesn't fit in with his people anymore because he's been touched by the magic of the ring. Much like Elsa is different because she's been touched by the magic of the world, and she has to like leave, like Frodo did. He had to leave across the sea.
He doesn't have to cross the sea.
Yeah,
He
I guess that
chooses
makes
to.
sense. But I still
That's what he did in the book.
would have
And in the
preferred
movie.
it if she stayed dead. I mean, I guess
I
they
don't think
could've
she
do that 'cause
died.
it's like kids'
Like
movie,
it was so
but
messy and
I don't know.
confusing that I didn't see her dying. Like,
Yes, she did.
She.
well, I did.
Like the part where she's frozen completely fucking solid. That
I'm
she's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
sure it was
Anna
supposed
got
to be
frozen in the
alluded to
previous one,
something
and it was
like
so
that.
confusing that it wasn't clear. It's not like she got ripped in half or something.
what like it was in the song, Paul. Dive too deep and you'll fucking die. You know, her mom sang it like 7
Too
times.
deep and you'll fucking die.
It was just it was too confusing. Everything was magic in there, so I had no idea if she was actually dead or whatever.
I don't know. I knew, like, right as she was, like, dead that she was going to come back. And they were saying that, like, once they can uncover the truth and, like, undo the wrongs of the woods or whatever, everything would, like, go back. So I knew, like, they were basically already saying, like, yeah, everything's going to return to normal. All we have to do is break that damn bridge.
Yeah. Who was the villain in this movie?
I don't think anybody...
Disney
Wait.
for making us pay for it.
Humans, like
I guess, yeah, her grandfather.
like the great grandparents or whatever.
She was the reason why he was the reason this curse came to be.
the guy who was dead at the start of the movie.
But in terms of, like, an actual villain that they have to fight, it's more so just repairing this curse that's been, like, a
Yeah,
thing.
well, it seemed confused in that way because there was her grandpa, the like boomer, who was the villain, who was because he was supposed to like he was trying to take control of nature, and that was supposed to be like a bad thing in the message of the movie. But that's what Elsa does when she takes control of the spirits.
It's
Yeah,
not
but
that
she's
he's
It
trying
seemed
to,
conflicted in that way.
it's just that he
She
doesn't
has
trust.
nature on her side already.
He doesn't trust magic.
Well, that
He isn't willing to accept it out. Whereas Elsa's like, accepts it kind of half.
yeah,
But she doesn't want to like stomp.
but like
It's-
it doesn't like you mentioned with the dam, that was supposed to be a super important part of the story. but they only had like one sentence about it like being bad for the natives. Like they said like it's blocking some ways. It didn't
Yeah.
really establish that it was like
They made it seem more like it was a good thing early on.
yeah. And it might have
And then
been like just the
right.
one native chief said like
Well,
it's
I think that was
blocking
the
off
point,
something.
was to make it seem like a good thing.
It's just that like the grandfather.
I think the point was to make it
Okay.
seem like a good thing, only for you to realize, hey, that's bad.
Well, it wasn't
The gra-
necessarily explicitly bad. It was just that it, like, at least from what the movie said, the chief was the only one who had a problem with it, and they didn't establish that at all. There were like 3 sentences about the dam in total.
I know
The grandpa did
grandfather
say,
used the
like, in
dam as a
Iceberg,
trap because he doesn't.
Because you obviously weren't paying attention during that scene at all.
Like he didn't trust magic or anybody who could wield it. He felt like they were just going to be become too power hungry with it. When in reality, that's what he was doing. And it's supposed to be kind of ironic that he believes like magic can't be used for good, when his like granddaughter would be an example of like magic being used for good.
And were the native peoples like very magical at all?
They're Indian, so
They had
Indian
some
magic.
forms of magic, and they very much
They
trusted
were with,
in it.
they were like one with the spirits.
that's bullshit.
And
When
Paul,
nature
they
tells
did
us
explain
to
why the well
run,
was
we
bad.
listen.
The grandpa said that the well would help like cut off their magic, and the whole point of it was to weaken them, so they could kill them easier.
It said it would
In
cut
the
off their
iceberg
magic.
scene. I don't know if that was like his exact
I don't
wording,
know, the
but
point is the grandpa
it would
vibe
like
checked the
dampen the
chief,
spirit's power or something.
and that gave us the plot we had today.
The grandpa made the well so he could vibe check the chief easier. Well, bad, destroy.
Sure.
Are you saying well?
I really wish shut the fuck up. I meant damn. I really wish
Okay.
that Arendelle would have just been wiped away and they had to rebuild it. Like, I don't know.
Like Thor
Would've been a bit
Ragnarok?
cooler. But
Yeah. They could have just
Yeah.
said, like, everybody in Arendelle evacuated. I mean, it's not like Arendelle was safe anyways.
Mhm.
they did.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they
That's
did
right.
say everybody evacuated. Like, the very beginning scene.
Fucking jerk off.
They could have had some consequence in it.
They could have like not saved the kingdom.
Yeah, but-
so then like there was a
Oh, well.
point, but oh well.
Oh, well.
I still
What
don't
did you guys
it was
think of
that bad.
Olaf?
Alright, Paul, it's getting close to what you
Olaf
call
was annoying in this
lunchtime.
movie.
Like I said before, Olaf could have been removed from the movie, and it would have made it better, in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
It's
right
like,
at the
I
beginning of the
wasn't
movie,
even-
they should have been Olaf returned to his home planet.
and died on the way to his home.
Like,
planet.
Yes,
he was
Olaf died
kind
on
of
the way
like
to his
he
home
did
planet.
have some kind of funny moments in the first movie, right?
Yeah, in the
Like,
movie,
he was
the
actually
first
kind of
movie,
funny
he
in
wasn't
some
bad,
scenes.
and he just
But in the
Like,
second
here,
one,
like-
it was like
so
he's
like
just
he
he's just there
makes
for the
one
kids.
joke like at the beginning of the movie with Anna when he asks a question that's clearly like not something there's an answer to, like, Anna, how do you feel that life and everything in the world is temporary and we will all cease to exist one day? And then like it's supposed to be haha funny, and then he just retells that same joke like a billion times in the movie, except he
Yeah, and-
asks it to kids, he asks it to like a fucking salamander.
Yeah,
It's like
and
nobody has the answer. That's the joke.
and like they establish like how he says that like things will make sense when he's older, and it just doesn't make any sense. They don't establish that well at all. They just use it in jokes for no reason. And his song about
And
it
then,
just completely ruins like the atmosphere of that scene
Yeah.
completely.
I wish he would say that. I wish when he said that line,
And then there's a part where he basically like shouts all lines.
what they need to do is he needs to bring up the whole line about life being meaningless and like life is short and how do you cope with it. And then they need to have him like die and like leave behind like a skeleton and like organs, so you can realize that he was actually living among us too. He was human too.
Oof.
Oh no. Not
Well, I
as
mean, he kind of
Cameron
did die,
knows.
but he was also back within 5 minutes, like Elsa, so it didn't mean anything.
I wish they got rid of Olaf earlier in the movie. I mean, like, I wouldn't, so that way he was, like, I understand, like, oh, they obviously don't want to kill him off, but, like, I thought it would have been better if they, killed him off earlier in the movie, so that way they could actually, you know, focus more on Anna and Elsa's story. Which I feel
Yeah.
like with some tweaks probably would have been, like, I don't want to
Like I
say better
said,
than the first one.
Olaf could be
but-
completely removed from the movie.
Yeah, they should have left him like in Arendelle.
Olaf has no meaning
could-
other than toys.
Yeah, they could have done like the same thing they did with Jar Jar, where like he joins the Senate. He's just like a leader of Arendelle now.
And if they could just
Well, that's
every
true.
now and then, like twice in the movie, cut back to him trying to like calm down the people of Arendelle if they really need to get in that Olaf ha funny.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
that could almost
And
be
that could
funny.
have
Like,
actually led to some funny moments.
Yeah, but that would be
He does
that
silly
would be-
thing in forest.
yeah, but then you would be able to correlate that to Family Guy, since Family Guy's comedy is just cutaway comedy.
It's not cut. That's different. Like
It's the
Olaf
same
doing
thing.
something. Family Guy cutaways are literally just making a gag that's completely unrelated to anything, but just going to do that gag and then coming back to where it
Well,
doesn't
having them
relate.
cut back to
Olaf-
Olaf to show him like helping the people is completely pointless to the story. So
It
it'd still be
shows
a
what's
meaningless
happening in
cutaway.
Arendelle, and it shows that
But
what's
that doesn't-
happening to the people in the
Yeah,
kingdom.
it could make more sense
And
for
it
the
could
story
even-
because, like, how are we supposed to believe that those people are just sitting on their asses waiting
It could even
doesn't
show like,
matter,
how
it's a
worse
Disney
the-
to
movie.
do something?
It would also show like how the spirits are.
We're trying to make Disney better.
You can't
also
make
show
Disney
how-
any better.
yeah, and they could have like compared like how the Arendellians are doing back there to like how the
Yeah.
natives were with
And
Elsa.
every now
them.
and then, like when they cut back, Olaf's doing a funny, and they look over at like Arendelle, and it's like the spirits are getting worse and worse, so it keeps building up tension. Like if they don't hurry, then something like really bad is gonna happen.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
This is a Frozen sequel, and they're not going to
Yeah.
show you any tension. The tension is from how quickly you can leave the movie theater.
No,
But
they
they
could have
could've-
done well. They could have
Yeah,
done
but
it
this
way
is
better.
but this is Disney with a Disney sequel. They're not going to do any of that.
Yeah, they should have just let us
No, we're
direct it.
criticizing them to make them like
Directed
pretend
by
like we
Paul
have a
from the
voice and
Podcast of
make the
Destiny.
movie, make them change their ways, make their movies actually good.
No, you can't do
Actually,
that.
hold on. I don't mean to be like, complaining about Disney back and forth, but I mean like, is it bad that like Disney used to be like the top dog in animation, and they made hit after hit after hit, and nowadays it's just kind of like, oh, they're okay.
It's like okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, they're-
not forget that they're still top dog because they're buying everything.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, Walt Disney Animation Studios themselves, not including Pixar, not including Marvel, not including Star Wars.
Well, they're just
Walt Disney
they're just
Animation
rehashing
Studios.
so much of what they already have.
Mm-hmm. Like, what was the last good Walt Disney Animation movie?
I
I think it
fucking
might have
know.
been Frozen 1.
I don't
Likely.
fucking-
Probably the recording his wife did at Walt Disney's funeral.
Ooh. Let's see.
I mean, that's like legitimately the last Walt Disney film.
Let's see.
Somebody bring up like a list.
There
of
was
all the Walt
Moana.
Disney movies.
No,
Oh, that's right, Moana was.
Moana was alright.
Moana was good.
No,
Oh,
we
wait,
had to-
Zootopia was Walt Disney too, wasn't it?
Yep, Zootopia, Big Hero 6.
Don't talk about
Big
that
Hero
movie.
6 was okay.
Yeah, it was
I
okay.
do appreciate Zootopia, with fur fetish me.
Oh, Chicken
Loving
Little
some of
was
that.
Disney?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's quality film.
Okay, but was
That's
was
like their
Chicken
most
Little
DreamWorks
actually a good movie?
Chicken Little was the epitome of comedy.
Chicken Little is not a good movie,
Chicken Little's a good movie for how bad it is.
I guess.
Legit, it takes all of the worst
It's-
forms.
it's
of
like good in like an
it takes all
ironic
the
way.
worst forms of comedy and makes it funny because of how
It
bad
takes
the
all the
comedy
worst.
is.
I don't know. I don't even think it's that funny to make fun of. It's kind of like Fairly Odd Parents. Like I think like you can tell it's trying to be funny, but it's just not really.
Well,
coming off.
that's modern Fairly Odd Parents. Prior, like older Fairly Odd Parents was like at least entertaining to watch as a kid, and it's not too bad. Like it does have some subtle jokes in there.
I know it's a weird comparison, but I would always explain like why I didn't really like Fairly Odd Parents compared to like SpongeBob. Is like if you take a joke that Patrick and Cosmo say, like they're both stupid characters and they say stupid things, but the things that Patrick say are like so weird and stupid that like only he would say it, and then the things that Cosmo says are like, I'm gonna watch paint dry, and then he watches paint dry, and it's like that's the joke because he's stupid. I don't know.
I don't know, Scotty. I think you're just
Well, to be
I
retarded.
think
fair,
maybe
I
it's
don't
because
think-
I've been watching paint dry.
I didn't like SpongeBob compared to that or Jimmy Neutron, because those are the three I watched as a kid, because it was just the comedy wasn't there for like, there was no like actual setup for a joke. The comedy was just let's say something retarded or let's do something retarded. And that's partially why I'm not a big fan of it now. As it's even more of just let's emphasize on being nothing and there's no wit or
I
anything.
I think we're getting pretty off topic here.
Yeah, that's true.
We went off topic when you started talking
No,
about
this is
Walt
on
Disney.
topic.
Do we have anything else?
Well,
Do we
Walt
have
Disney
anything
made
else to say
Frozen 2.
for
Yeah,
Frozen 2?
I know it's getting close to your lunchtime, Paul. So I guess we should get our
probably.
finishing.
No, I have one more
finishing
thing to talk
thoughts on
about Frozen.
2.
I'm not done with
Yeah,
Frozen
so
yet.
do that as you're finishing whatever.
Do
Like,
it.
I wanted to.
if you have
That's
anything else to
finishing
say,
thought.
mention it.
Shut
Say
the
it.
fuck up! This is my
Go.
podcast. This is my podcast. You listen to me. Get what you fucking deserve.
Frozen 2 costs more
Give us
Come
your
on.
finishing thought.
This isn't a finishing thought. This is a quick discussion. I was going to say, how do you compare the villain from Frozen 1 to Frozen 2?
What villain in Frozen
Well,
2? There just fucking
That's
wasn't
what
one.
I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just so confusing and messy. There wasn't a good villain.
So that's what I'm saying. How
The,
would
be-
you
the best villain in Frozen 2 was probably the spirits themselves because they weren't really a villain and it was almost interesting. That part of it,
Actually,
like Elsa and the spirits,
I have a-
I'd say was almost
I have a bit
interesting.
of a controversial opinion on Frozen 1. I still really love that movie, but am I the only one who thinks Hans was like kind of unneeded as a villain, other than
Yeah,
just
it
like,
was-
set up?
It was pretty unnecessary, yeah.
Like I think it worked perfectly
was kinda
fine as
dumb.
Elsa's conflict, like internal conflict being the villain, rather than like
Yeah.
having to have Hans
Well,
come in.
the reason why I think they
And speaking of Hans, why did Frozen 2 have to remind us of his existence like every 10 minutes?
I don't know, because they
And-
were making
and
a joke,
also
like,
Elsa had
they
n-
need to make it feel like a sequel.
Well, actually, Elsa had like no important conflict of character in the first one.
What do you mean?
Well, like all she does is like at the beginning she's conflicted because she's like hiding her powers, but then she just releases them. And what changes after that? Like what conflict does she have after that?
Well, the entire beginning of the movie, she's like being taught to
I guess her
restrain
conflict
them.
at that point is how does she
For the first like
reverse what
5
she's
minutes,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, she does that, and then when she like accidentally freaks out and shoots ice, the Duke of like Weaselton or something like that,
Weselton.
It's Weselton.
calls her a witch, and so she runs away. And then like at that point, Anna and the people of Arendelle are like divided on whether or not Elsa's like a witch or if she's like still a good person at heart. She was just frightened. But and at that for Elsa, she just believes that like she never fully trained herself, so she can't really be around people without hurting them. And then like when she sees Anna, she's happy to see her, but she's like still too worried to actually do that. And then she that moment's further intensified by the fact that she accidentally like shoots off a bunch more ice and it damn near kills Anna.
She fucking pops
And
off.
well, she just seems stupid. Like she freezes everything, and then she says she can't go back, even though everyone's gonna die if she doesn't somehow unfreeze everything. And then she freezes Anna because she's stupid.
Well,
She just seems stupid.
That's her
She was
internal
stupid in the
conflict.
first
She
one.
can't control her powers.
She
like
can't
that's
control
her
her powers.
conflict that you're talking about. She just doesn't know how to
Like,
control her powers yet.
Her whole life,
And so
was
she's
being
like
told-
isolating
yeah.
herself.
Her whole life, she was being told not to use her powers, to restrict her powers.
Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know.
You can't.
Yeah, but
sing
like
a song.
you're talking about her
Copyrighted.
having to conceal them. She gets over that conflict entirely right after she leaves Arendelle. Like she makes the big castle and whatnot, and she gets over that conflict.
Yeah, but she's still like frightened by her own powers.
Not exactly.
guess.
She's frightened of hurting people. She's definitely frightened of hurting people with them.
Yeah, with her powers. I mean, she's
But I think
frightened
that's
of her
just-
powers.
It's just her being stupid because
That's
she
a-
doesn't know that she's already hurting them by not being away.
That's a good segue into why I think that the movie needed Hans, despite not being a great villain, is because they didn't want to try to use the conflict. Because if they didn't have Hans, the conflict would have to be between Elsa and Anna, and they can't have those two fight. It's just not what Disney would
could've.
do. They could have, but Disney wouldn't do that. It's just not how Disney would do things. They wouldn't.
Maybe
have
Disney just needs to be better. Like Disney just needs to listen to our advice. All right,
The way the
I'm going straight to Walt Disney and making him listen to this podcast.
The
He's
way
gonna
the
learn how to
movie
make a
is-
movie.
the way the movie is set up is set in a way that the sisters are inseparable. They're really loving characters. They wouldn't do anything to conflict against each other, and so the movie sets
Are you talking
up,
about Frozen 2?
I'm talking about both Frozen movies,
Okay.
but yeah, that's how they're set up, and they have the characters split apart by having
By
in the
having
first
Hans.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's
so
a
they
good
have
point, Colton. I
they
didn't
have
consider that.
So they have Hans split them up, and that's also furthered by the fact that Anna wants Elsa to stay, but Elsa wants to go far away because of her powers and whatnot.
And then Hans goes after Elsa to kill her, further
Right.
showing that like she's afraid of both hurting people and being around them.
Right,
That's a
and
good point,
it's just.
actually.
I still could have
it's-
written him better.
And the other thing too is if the two sisters conflicted, like had a conflict against each other, it would take the whole premise of their inseparable sisters in an argument too far. So then it would just
Yeah.
be kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I think it shows that like the main conflict and villain of the movie is still Elsa's internal conflict, but Hans acts as the external divide. Like the reason why it keeps getting pushed and shit like that.
Yeah, I
And
do
I
agree
think-
with your
I
point.
thought in
just-
Frozen 2,
I still think they
the
could
whole,
have
like,
written him better.
Yeah,
But
I think the biggest reason why Hans wasn't that like interesting is because Disney was like really on this whole twist villain shit.
Well, I think
Like every movie they did has a
yeah,
twist
like
villain.
if he wasn't a twist villain, like if he was introduced as a bad guy from the start, he probably would have been a bit better.
Well, I think. Well,
Yeah.
I
But
think
then they
the
couldn't
reason-
could have
the
developed
can't marry
him
a
more.
man you just met subplot. So I don't know.
Well, the thing is I feel like if they developed him too well, then he would completely lose meaning in being the divider, because then they could just do something completely different that changes from the general scope of what the movie originally was. So they had to make him work, but not work too well, because having too much of a good thing is going to completely change how things work. He would no longer be the
and then it could
divider.
start. That's a good, because then it would start taking away focus from the main conflict of the movie,
Because
and then we just have Frozen 2.
If he was very well written, he probably wouldn't be the divider. What he would probably be is, okay, Anna wants to do this, Elsa wants to do this. He divides them, but then he becomes a better bad guy. So instead of having the two be divided over his conflict, they come back together and face him. And that's not the kind of movie it is. It's not a let's team up and they take down the bad guy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Frozen just be Avengers Endgame?
It
I didn't
is.
see that.
Didn't you
movie.
see Elsa kill Thanos?
You have any closing thoughts, Hunter?
The Infinity Stones
Um,
never bothered me anyway.
I think the movie would have been more enjoyable to me if it weren't filled with little fucking children. And the score
Okay.
might have gone up a little bit, but because of that, I'm still going to keep it 4 out of 10. It's meh.
Okay.
My
Scotty?
closing thoughts are Frozen 1 was really good. This movie, if you like the first one, you'll probably still enjoy this one, but overall it's not like a great huge movie that you have to see or anything.
Okay. I know I'm kind of on my own about this, but I thought Elsa was a lot more interesting in this one, but still like half of her stuff was just completely screwed up because this movie was a mess. I think you guys might disagree with me, but I liked Anna and Hans at the beginning before they started doing like the proposal stuff. I just thought
You mean
their
Kristoff?
relationship was okay. What was it? What did I say?
You said Hans.
Oh,
Yeah, I do agree. Like
Kristoff and Anna.
if they used Kristoff better than just being, oh, he wants to propose, but it's not a good time, like he would have actually been a good character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Because
Kristoff
they
in the
did
first
that to
movie
him.
too.
hmm
Damn, all this podcast did was make me realize I like the first one way more than the second one.
Yeah, we should all just
That's
we should
probably
watch
a
the
good
first
thing.
one.
That means
I
you have good
think we could
taste,
have some
Scotty.
interesting things to say about the first one.
Maybe we should rewatch it
Podcast of
sometime.
Destiny 7.
Like at
Yeah.
our Christmas party, we could watch Frozen and then we can all review it as like a big.
Yeah.
And another thing that Frozen 1 did better than Frozen 2 is the songs. Like, pretty much every song
Oh, yeah.
slaps in Frozen. Frozen 2
Every
has, like,
song's
2.
a banger. Yeah, but
Yeah, Frozen 2. they
I
might
won't
be
get
the
too
most,
into that
definitely.
since it'll be the next podcast.
I feel like Frozen 1 had better music, but I feel like some more of the songs in Frozen 2 had a better visual appeal.
Mm-hmm. I can see
I guess
that.
the animation was.
Maybe.
I did like the animation in Frozen 2. It was good.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people like that one, but are we just about finished up?
Yeah, Scotty and I
Yeah.
have to make closing statements.
Alrighty.
Oh, I already made mine. You can go
Yeah,
ahead.
he did, dude.
Okay.
Colton.
Well, Hunter,
Sorry.
What's your
But if you
closing
have anything to
statement?
say,
Hunter, make
hang on.
another statement before I say mine.
Plug your
Um,
channel.
Yeah,
Like
go
you
watch
said,
M64. I'm making Soul Calibur 6 and probably Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tutorials. You know, they're real bangers. Go watch them.
How to
You'll be a
play.
master in 3 seconds.
Shit, I might
Alright,
just go
Colton.
right now.
Okay, and I think you might not know this, Scotty, but it's pretty much a tradition on this podcast to finish with a song.
I got one.
Wait, Colton hasn't made his closing remarks yet. Colton, what's your
Yeah,
closing
go,
remark?
Go ahead, Cole.
Oh, I thought he did.
Okay.
Okay.
Due to a massive explosion at a Texas chemical plant injuring at least 3 workers there, happening overnight at the teacher's
Dude, that's so
plant
funny.
in Fort Nate.
That's
Dude,
good.
I don't think I agree with that about Frozen 2, but, you know.
To each
That's
his
a
own.
very
You, I
bold
guess.
opinion.
Alrighty, what are we finishing this on? First song from Frozen?
I don't remember that song.
Wait, the first one's the fucking ice one. Let's do a better one.
Ice.
It was
That's
the
one
best
that-
one.
Wait, let's
It
do
was
Lost.
good.
we might
Guys,
as well just say
Guys,
Let It Go.
Guys,
you know?
let's do let's do Lost in the Woods from the second one.
Okay,
Do
we
they
can
have
all
the lyrics
we can all
up?
try and
Hey,
remember.
I gotta look at the lyrics.
Was that the Olaf one?
It's the Kristoff.
No.
No, that was the
Kristoff
good
one.
one.
Oh, it wasn't a good song, but
It was a funny
I mean,
song.
it was certainly better than Olaf's song.
I tried
Yeah.
to type in Lost in. I tried to type in Lost in the Woods, and it autocorrected to Lost in the Sauce.
alrighty, we starting?
Wait, I haven't found it yet.
Let's start.
Hold a
Give me a
video
sec.
so I can get my voice in sync.
Wait, is there a Weezer version of it?
There's
Fuck
a,
it, we're
there's
playing
a song
now.
of it with lyrics. The Weezer song?
Give me a sec.
I don't listen to that shit anymore.
Wait, who was playing that
This
song?
is a Weezer.
Hunter, was that you playing that song?
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
play
like
that song.
a Weezer Lost in the Woods.
Oh yeah,
and
that
then
was
there-
from. I heard that's in the
Also-
credits.
Nathan Groff Lost in the Woods.
Yeah, play that song out loud so we can hear it, so we can all like sing to the beat.
When does it
It's gonna be
start?
great with my cold.
Off
on a different path than mine. Behind, wondering if I should follow. You had to go,
and
of course
it's
it's always
always
fine.
I
I
prop
you
up
tomorrow.
you
It
tomorrow.
feels
But
like
it feels like to be growing apart.
every
And
time
I
one's always chasing your heart. I'm lost in the
I am
woods.
lost in the woods. North is left, south is right. When you're gone, I'm the one who sees you home. But now I'm lost in the woods, and I don't know what path you're on. Come on, Kolton, Scotty.
You're singing off tone, so fucking
Sing it
everyone
up.
mess it up.
I literally
Up
can't
till
hear it.
now. How? Never thought it was a question of what.
Who am I?
Who am I if not your? I'm not.
If I'm not your guy.
Where am I if we're not together?
No, you're
I know
mine.
you're my
Cause I'm
true.
lost in the woods.
'Cause I'm lost
Is
in the
down,
woods.
day is night. When
Is
you're
down,
not,
day is night. When
oh,
you're
you're
not there, oh,
mine.
you're
I'm lost in the woods.
so I'm lost in the woods. Wondering if you still care.
But
I'll wait for a sign that I'm your path, 'cause you are mine till then.
Cause you are mine. I'm lost in the woods. Lost in the woods. Lost in the woods. Lost in the woods.
I'm lost
In a dream. Snake eater.
Stop lost.
Tree frog!
I'm lost.
Alright. That was brilliant.
All right. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for listening. This will not go up on SoundCloud
Like,
since I
could feel
realized
the
I
bass from
hit
that
my
song,
limit for that.
Like, on my feet. Like, with the woofer that I got with the computer, like, I could feel the bass through my feet. It was something.
Thanks for having
Alrighty.
me on.
Yep, no problem. We'd love to have you on again.
But,
maybe Elizabeth on the next one
I'd love
too.
to
yeah,
see
But,
thanks for coming, Scotty.
thanks. Bye. Everyone say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Bye.
Oh.
Well, look who's here! Hey!
Olaf.
You look like you've got something to say. Do you?
Yes, I certainly do. I have to go now. My planet needs me.